just a bit outside.
Welcome on into another episode of Nate Hit the Foul Pole. Got a jam-packed episode in for you guys today. Fortunate enough to get a guest on the show, Xavier Moore from the Delmarva Shorebirds. Zack actually had a few minutes to interview him. But we wanted to start off today's episode talking about the hot start in June. Coming off that 14-game losing streak, the Birds are 4-1 in June, winning 2 straight series against the Twins and the Indians. Zack, what have you seen from the Orioles in the last 5 games?
They're playing more like the team that I think I expected them to be. They're playing like the team that is going to lose a lot of games, but is going to show some incremental areas of progress, I would say. Obviously with Mountcastle, Bruce Zimmerman, some of these guys that are really performed badly to start the year and now kind of turning it around. I think that's what we really expected from the start. We expected them to be better players than they were in April and May. And now you look at what they're doing, so far in June and in the late part of May, I should mention. And they've been playing better. They're contributing to the Orioles' success. The Orioles are not going to win solely off the bats of the veterans like Trey Mancini or Freddie Galvis or whoever it is. They've got to have other guys like Mountcastle, like, a Ryan McKenna, like a whoever step up and, hit the ball well. That's going to help them win. And that's what we expected out of these prospects. So the 4-1, it's surprising, but I think it's also kind of in line with what more of us actually expected them to be to start this year.
Yeah, obviously we're coming off a game in which they scored 18 runs, but they have, as a team, they have a higher OPS than the New York Yankees do.
Right.
A team who is above 500 and well above them in the standings. It just goes to show that, a team like the Yankees, who coming into the year, every single player in their lineup on Fangraphs was expected to hit 20 home runs or more. It just goes to show that maybe people underrated this Orioles offense just a little bit.
Yeah, I think when we all saw everyone struggling, Mountcastle, whoever, we were like, these guys are too good to not start hitting at some point. And I think now we're actually seeing what the offense looks like when everyone is producing, when everyone is contributing, except a guy like Michael Franco, because Michael Franco has done, I don't want to say nothing, but pretty close to it in the past few, weeks. He's been pretty, I don't know what your opinion is on it, but I think he's getting pretty close to what I would say is DFA territory. He's been awful, but other than that, everyone else in the offense has been producing to a point.
Yeah, you seem to be pretty genuinely excited when the Orioles got him in free agency. I was for sure. A little bit less so, not because I don't think he could hit. I thought he would be, a pretty good hitter for the team. I just was not a fan of his defense.
That's fair.
And we went to the game on Saturday, the Orioles game on Saturday together, and he made like a real flashy play down at third base, kind of shades of Machado down there. But yeah, overall, it just hasn't been the product that you want to see. I had pretty high hopes that they could trade him come July. I don't really know what the return would even look like at all. You're just kind of getting, some quantity at that point, not really quality. So, remains to be seen. He still has a month and a half to turn it around.
Is it fair to say that Michael Franco's defense has been better than the offense? I think it has. The defense has not been bad. You think of Michael Franco and you think of errors, you think of thrown away balls, you think of everything possible that could go wrong on the defensive side. He hasn't been that guy.
Right.
He hasn't been like a Renato Nunez playing third base. He's been fine. He hasn't been Manny Machado, but he's been good enough, and the offense has been nothing, really nothing.
Yeah, I don't have the numbers in front of me to tell you, but I would say certainly in terms of expectations, definitely the defense has exceeded my expectations. The offense has kind of been a little bit below. But yeah, we can shift a little bit to some positive signs on the offense. Obviously, Cedric Mullins, the game we were at, he went 5 for 5. He hit 2 home runs. His on base percentage is now .390, which is completely insane for the player we saw 2 years ago. A guy you could maybe hope would get on base like .280 or so. Yeah. He's shown a lot. He's shown plus power really at this point. He's shown he's gotten stolen bases. He's in the 98th percentile and outs above average on defense. if this doesn't scream all-star, I don't know what does.
Yeah, I mean, the Orioles are at the disadvantage that nobody really cares about them and that we might not get as many votes. But, I think it's almost a lock. John Means is the all-star that has to be the all-star for the Orioles because one person obviously has to be the all-star.
I disagree with that.
You do disagree? Okay. Is Trey Mancini the guy? Is Cedric Mullins the guy?
I think the Orioles get 2 all-stars, and I think Means is not one of them.
You don't think John Means is an all-star at this point? Or is it because of the injury?
I think he deserves to be an all-star. I think the injury is going to hinder him a little bit.
That's fair.
I think when not necessarily the fans are choosing, but maybe the players and coaches are choosing, and they're looking at pure numbers, pure amount of innings, they're going to maybe hedge on some other pitchers. Now, there haven't been too many great American League pitchers. I just wonder by the time the beginning of July rolls around if Means is still going to be in that conversation. I'm not saying he won't be, but it's just I have a question mark in my mind.
I actually think it's fair to say also that I think Means and Mancini are the only all-stars, and I don't think Cedric Mullins makes the all-star team. I think that would be my prediction as of now.
It wouldn't shock me.
Because I feel like no one outside of the Orioles fan base cares at all about Cedric Mullins. Like, you're not going to walk up to a Yankees fan and you're going to say, all right, who are the 3 best players in the Orioles? He's going to tell you Santander, Mancini, and Means. Like, I just don't think you're going to have too many people care all that much about Cedric Mullins, but maybe a lot of people should care more about Cedric Mullins, but they don't. But nonetheless, I think we also have to have the conversation at some point. All of the success that Cedric Mullins has had is kind of out of nowhere and like unexpected, I would say, at this point, because we knew when he was a prospect, we knew he was a solid prospect. I think his debut that night in 2018 was one of the more anticipated debuts for the Orioles in a long time.
Right.
I can remember
a big reason for that
when that happened.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a big reason for that. I mean, he was basically the heir apparent to Adam Jones, which were gigantic shoes to fill. So, unfairly to him, he had these massive expectations that he couldn't possibly, live up to in the first year or two. What he's doing now is just absolutely insane. Like, I don't expect him to continue at this particular pace, but I do consider him to be one of the better outfielders in the American League. And, so obviously switching just to the left-hand side, not being a switch hitter anymore has made the world of difference for him. I'm sure he's made some other mechanical tweaks, but this guy's legit.
The amazing thing to me with Cedric Mullins is how strong he is for the size he is. Like, he is not a big guy at all.
5'8".
Yeah, right. He's probably one of the smaller guys in the league, and he's been hitting home runs. He, is muscling the ball out into the gap for doubles. I mean, this is almost unexpected. Even as the prospect we thought he was when he came over and, from the Tides and started playing for the O's in replacement for Adam Jones, we expected him to be, maybe a 320, 330 on base guy. Maybe hit like 250-ish and just get a lot of base hits, an OPS around 750, 800, somewhere in that range. And not the guy who is now as an OPS over, I believe it's over 1,000 right now or close to it.
It's 923.
923, so still excellent. And then 8 home runs, which I believe is tied for second on the team. I believe he's tied with Ryan Mountcastle for that number. So
he's 9, actually.
9 now. Okay, he just keeps hitting them. So
keeps hitting them.
He keeps hitting them, and it's amazing to me that this guy is even better than the prospect we thought he would be. Because I think a lot of Orioles fans, including myself, when a prospect comes up, we make them out to be maybe a little bit more than they are.
Right.
And that's just natural because we want the player to be good. And again, like you said, he was trying to fill the shoes of Adam Jones, which of course is never easy. So he is better than that guy we thought he was going to be. And that to me is amazing. We just got to hope now that he can keep this up over 162.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely talk of a Gold Glove for him as well. I see my gut reaction to that is no way, just because of how poor his throwing arm is. And
I would agree with that too. Yes.
And all the years that Nick Markakis won Gold Gloves, Adam Jones, those guys had rockets for arms. I don't really know if that's, fair for him at all. I think you can look at some advanced statistics and see that he really is one of the elite outfielders in baseball defensively. But it will be interesting to see how he keeps that up and really if his arm does come into play with that.
Yeah, I think, again, he's just the disadvantage that people don't really care enough about him. And that he may not be voted into a Gold Glove because he's just not that notable of a player or a crazy, he's not like Aaron Judge or something. So, he doesn't get media attention, all of that. And I think he deserves it for sure. But the arm is definitely concerning. I think that's the weakest part of his game by far. And that's interesting because he was always someone who was labeled as a solely defensive outfielder. And his arm's not good at all. Like you put his arm up against a guy like Austin Hayes, it's not even a competition at that point. So, yeah, I mean, that might hold him back from a Gold Glove, but I think, maybe a batting title could be even something we could consider. He's been that good.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because before the game on Saturday, he was hitting under 300, and now he's hitting 322. So
that is wild.
It is possible that he could be a little bit streaky. I could see that. I mean, obviously 322 in this day and age of Major League Baseball, that'll get you in the conversation for a batting title at least. But yeah, I mean, just it's really cool to see him excel. We didn't necessarily think he would be a piece on this team. At least I didn't coming into the year.
I don't think you could have. Like, right. He just what he's done over the past 2 years was not really telling of much, but I don't think it also told you that he would be a piece. I think maybe that, that first game in 2018, he came up again. Like I said, I remember exactly where I was when he did that. And he had like 3 hits. He was, he was on fire. And that's the kind of player we see now. And he struggled the rest of that year. He hit like 230 in 2018. 2019, he was obviously horrible. He got sent down. He had a horrible stretch. 2020, he was okay. I wouldn't say he was anything special. And now he's a very, very different player. And because of I would say a multitude of factors. But yeah, I don't know what kind of player he is, or if we could have known that he would have been kind of this player a couple years ago.
So we do want to shift gears a little bit to another guy on the offense. Ryan Mountcastle is coming off of an AL Player of the Week award. He has just been lighting it up in the last week. Hit a couple home runs over the weekend as well. Gotten that batting average all the way up to 254, where 2 months ago, a month and a half ago, it was 100 points lower. Our friend Zach Goodman here wore his jersey to the game on Saturday, and
I did.
Magic happened. It
might have been I think it was the first time I've ever worn that thing. I bought it like a year ago in spring training of 2020. Bought it off DHgate, got it for like $20. And yeah, it's been sitting in my closet ever since. But Ryan Mountcastle has definitely done a very solid job in this last week. I mean, again, as I mentioned before in the show, this is what we expected out of Ryan Mountcastle. Like, we knew he was going to hit. Like, he is a pure hitter, a very good hitter. I remember telling someone a couple months ago that, was complaining about Ryan Mountcastle not getting going. I was like, look, it's going to happen. Ryan Mountcastle is going to get going. I don't know whether it's going to be now, whether it's going to be over the All-Star break, whether it's going to be 2022. But he will get going because he's that good and talented of a guy. Trey Mancini called him one of the most talented baseball players he's ever seen. He said he's some of the quickest hands he's ever seen. It's telling of how good Ryan Mountcastle is as a baseball player. He's now showing it. And like you said, AL Player of the Week.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at his advanced metrics on StatCast. I was shocked to see these numbers. Like, everything is in the blue, like lower than 50 percentile, except for max exit velocity. And you just mentioned there with the quick hands, that's going to translate to exit velocity. The home run he hit on Saturday was 111 miles per hour. I mean, that's approaching Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge territory. And if this guy could just have more consistent plate discipline, he would be one of the more elite hitters in the league. I mean, his on-base percentage is 282. That's very low for a power hitter. But he's just got to take more pitches and just wait for his pitch.
Yeah, it's all about being patient for him. Right now he's on base about 280, which is not good. But I guess that's not really the guy Mountcastle is. He's not an on-base guy. He never has been. He's a guy who chases. And like you said, that's all going to be something that's going to be it's going to have to be more part of his game going forward if he wants to succeed. You can hit all you want, but you've also got to walk a little bit. You've got to get on base at over a 300 clip. 280 sucks, but it's definitely an improvement over where it was. At one point in the season, it was like 210. So he's got to be more selective. He's got to wait for his pitch. And I think I've seen him do that much better in the past few days outside of just being the good hitter he is. I saw a game like a month ago or so, and he brought his hands in and he pulled 2 balls into the outfield. And then on another swing, went opposite field and just waited on a curveball, went opposite field, poked it, right through the hole there. And I just said, this is the kind of hitter Ryan Mountcastle is. That's the kind of thing he does. And that's what you got to see more of. And then ever since then, he's been very, very good. So it's Ryan Mountcastle's ability to kind of take balls that aren't strikes, take balls that aren't really good pitches, and make them into hits. And that's what he does, and that's what he's been doing.
Yeah, I remember looking at his preseason projections, and they were just like astronomical. I was like, wow, they're projecting 280 hitter, 30 home runs, 100 RBIs. I was pretty surprised by that, but he's finally looking like that type of projections could be true. I wanted to do another recurring segment here. We did this last week. It's my fantasy minute, just 60 seconds to go over an Orioles player I think you could afford to pick up in your fantasy league, dynasty league, what have you. The guy I'm going to pick this week is going to be Paul Fry. This is probably best for American League only leagues. Pick up, get some saves here. He looks like he could be solidifying himself as the closer of this ball club. I don't know how many saves he's going to get you moving forward, depending on how many wins the Orioles get. And I don't know if he's going to be an Oriole long term. They may seek to trade him. We shall see. But his ERA is now under 2. His WHIP is only 1.06. If you're in a pinch and you need some saves, Paul Fry could be your guy.
Yeah, that's it. That's a really good point. Paul Fry has been so good compared to what a lot of people think he is. Again, I keep saying this, but it's because he's an Oriole. Not many people actually care enough about Paul Fry and what he's done this year, but he's been easily one of the best lefties in baseball, and I think he's going to continue that. He's just looked good ever since the Orioles picked him up a few years ago. So, he's had some up and down moments. He's had some rather bad appearances, but now he's looking like the guy that we kind of expected Paul Fry to be this year. We have one more thing to cover in this episode, and that's Baseball America and the brand new Top 100 they come out with. They come out with one semi-regularly. It seems like a thing that's happening more and more often now, where we're getting Baseball America updates. The latest update has some movers for the Orioles. The Orioles now have, of course, Adley Rutschman at number 2, but they also have the number 1 pitching prospect in baseball, Grayson Rodriguez, coming in at number 11, which is insane. That's astronomically good to have the number 2 prospect in baseball and the number 1 pitching prospect in baseball. And, not only that, Gunnar Henderson comes in at number 89. Heston Kjerstad, I want to say it was 76, 77, somewhere in that area.
Yeah, it's 78, but lower 70s, yeah.
DL Hall, I want to say, came in around 55. Correct me if I'm wrong.
44, I have him.
44. So he might have even taken a climb as well too. Mm-hmm. So the Orioles are well represented in this, and Jordan Westberg, Kyle Bradish, someone like that could jump into this at any time. Mm-hmm. But now, obviously, like I said, Grayson Rodriguez number 11 is unbelievable, and that's just telling of how good he is. By the way, pitching tonight, not when this podcast comes out, but he is pitching tonight at 6:35. So that's going to be exciting to see that. Always fun to see him pitch to the number 2 prospect in baseball.
Yeah, I definitely have some thoughts on this list, many of which surrounding the Orioles ranking overall. None of these guys are going to graduate anytime soon, this year especially. So I can see the Orioles system kind of catapulting to maybe number 1 or number 2, especially if you see some guys like Wander Franco graduate. A bevy of prospects just got called up. Alex Manoah among some others. So some of these guys, I mean, they have 5 right now. You just mentioned 2 more guys that could work their way into the top 100. I mean, you're going to be in the next couple of years, you're going to see them playing from a position of strength in terms of if they want to buy ever, get some high name profile names. They could afford maybe to trade one of these guys, but regardless, these guys are going to settle in the next couple of years in the ball club, and it's very exciting times.
Yeah, I mean, Gunnar Henderson is a guy that it was kind of an interesting pick because they went established college bat with the first pick in 2019 with Adley Rutschman, and then you go next with your pick to Gunnar Henderson, who was, I would say, a pretty raw high school bat, playing short, obviously, and there were some questions about whether he could stick a short. I don't know if there were really hitting questions. He was a very solid hitter in high school, good swing, nice left-handed swing. So he's certainly ascended to a lot higher of a position I think anybody could have predicted at this time. It takes a lot for a second-round pick to get into a top 100 among a lot of great international prospects and also, prospects that were drafted in the first round. So Gunnar Henderson has done a very good job of that. But it also just goes to show you how good Elias has drafted in the past few years.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen Heston Kjerstad yet. Hopefully, he gets better with his heart condition or whatever's going on with him. I think when he does get on the field, though, he's going to produce. Guy like Gunnar Henderson, like you said, at the time, I think we knew he was a steal where they got him. He should have been a first-round pick. And we want to see him, obviously, against some better competition. If he's doing the same thing that he's doing right now in Double-A, he's not going to be a 90th overall prospect. He's going to be a top 30 prospect. So just kind of excited to see his growth continue. DL Hall, again, we've talked about him countless times on the show. Top 50 prospect for DL Hall. That's a really good rating on him. They trust his stuff. They see that his curveball, his secondary stuff is going to play. And our top 3 prospects could potentially be up in the big leagues next year.
Yeah, I look at Gunnar Henderson and I think, maybe end of 2022. It just depends on how well he plays. It would be maybe a stretch. I think with Jordan Westberg, that's absolutely a possibility. Gunnar Henderson, I would hope. But obviously, Adley Rutschman, Grayson Rodriguez, DL Hall, just like you mentioned, they all should be up rather quickly. 2022, probably 2 of them in May. And then I think Grayson Rodriguez maybe a little bit later in, August maybe. But yeah, it's certainly the Orioles are well represented, and they are certainly building a system to, really to talk about because they're winning in a lot of spaces. They're playing well across the board, even for guys that aren't on the top 100 list. One of those guys is Xavier Moore, who has started the year very well at Delmarva, pitcher for the Shorebirds, who the Orioles acquired in 2019 from the Texas Rangers. Kind of a unsung trade, I guess. Not really too many people paid attention to it because it wasn't a big name or anything, but the Orioles were able to acquire Moore. And ever since then, he's been pretty good for the Shorebirds, putting up a sub-4 ERA this year. He's striking out over 13 for 9. So a relief pitcher that easily could be a piece for the Orioles down the road. And we were lucky enough to chat with him. So next, enjoy our interview with Xavier Moore. We now welcome in Xavier Moore, pitcher for the Delmarva Shorebirds. He's having a great season to start. Xavier, how are you doing today? How's everything going?
I'm doing great. Out here in Lynchburg right now. We got an off day today, and then we'll be playing Lynchburg tomorrow for our first game of the series.
Gotcha. That's awesome. So tell everyone a little bit about yourself, your path to baseball, just kind of your story so far.
So far, I picked up the game at 5 years old, so like real young. My dad actually taught me the game. He didn't play, like in college or high school. He just had like a love for the game and wanted to show me the game. So just been playing since I was 5. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I stay in Arizona now though, and went to high school at Amherst. Well, I was actually at Lorraine first. And then I ended up transferring to Amherst, was committed to Ohio State, ended up getting selected in the 16th round of the 2017 draft. Decided to go with that. I just felt like it was a better opportunity for me. And, the Rangers are going to pay for my school. And I did, I was with the Texas Rangers from 2017 to 2019, where I got traded around spring training time. And then now I'm just with the Orioles. And, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, you mentioned being a 16th round pick, and that was kind of going to lead into my next question, because how does someone as a 16th round pick kind of differentiate themselves from the rest of, some of these lower draft picks? How do you get yourself into, being talked about? How do you get yourself into these top prospect reports? What do you have to do as a 16th round pick, essentially?
Honestly, are you talking about like professional wise or just like
how do you how do you make a name for yourself there, as opposed to a guy who's drafted in the first round? Like, what do you have to do as a 16th round pick, essentially?
Honestly, I feel like it's just like your worth ethic at the end of the day. I feel like
Got you.
if you outwork, the people that are in front of you and you put everything that you have into it, you will start to get the results. I feel like I've always kind of had, good stuff. I just, just inconsistency at times with my, I haven't really had like a lot of innings. I used to work on hitting a lot. Like me and my dad used to go and we used to
Yeah.
work on hitting. Like we weren't even really working on pitching like that. And now here I am playing professional baseball as a pitcher. So, I just knew it was going to come like with results. I'm obviously still learning, still like a little bit of inconsistencies, but like I definitely like where I'm at right now. And, I just been working hard. I put a lot of hard work in this off season. I got stronger. Was able to bump my velo up a little bit, just continue to just grow with my pitches. And, I'm starting to get the results I want, and I'm just enjoying the process.
Yeah, you mentioned getting the results you want, and your K per 9 has gone up pretty dramatically this year. All the numbers are really, really solid for you this year so far. Why have you, in a sense, made these stats so much better? How have you performed better this year as opposed to these previous years? Is that being with the Orioles as opposed to being with Texas, or what are the factors that have made you so good this year?
I feel like the factors, honestly, is just like, we took that. We didn't have a season in 2020.
Right.
So I feel like it was more time for me to kind of prepare. Working out in the off season at the place that I was working out at, Rotational Athlete Solutions. And just working with the guy Casey Upperman there. He would, show me my pitching, and he just really believed in me, and I felt like he just gave me confidence. Like I always knew that I was good, but just hearing it from him, with the guys that I was working out with, and him telling me that like I really stand out. It just gave me the confidence that I needed, and I feel like that's kind of like something that I was lacking. So now I'm just trying to go out there and pitch with more confidence. And I feel like if I go out there with confidence and I throw strikes and get ahead, I'm one of the better pitchers out there. I just with me, it's just I got to get ahead, so and stay confident. But me staying confident has allowed me to up my game a little bit and has made things better 100%.
Yeah, so I mentioned coming over, and you mentioned as well, coming over from the Rangers to the Orioles. What are the differences organizationally? What are the differences in the organizational philosophies and how they do things so far coming to the Orioles?
I definitely enjoyed how the Rangers did their things. I give a lot of credit to them for me getting a little bit of a velo spike, because I believe my first year in 2017 I was 91 and 92. And then the next year they brought over Driveline. We were working with Driveline.
Yeah.
And that year I went from 91, 92 to sitting 93 and popping some fives and even hitting the 6-1. So, I think the velo and the Driveline definitely helped me out. And, I can thank the Rangers for bringing those guys over and having me meet them and work with them. It's been great. And then just transitioning over to the Orioles, I just love the organization. I love the way they do things. I feel the love here. I feel like the want. Because I feel like getting traded. It's it doesn't necessarily mean this team doesn't want you anymore, but it just means that this team wants you more if they're willing to trade for you. So
Exactly.
I guess just feeling like that that want, and it just puts less pressure on myself. But I just love the way they do things. I feel like I'm glad that they started me where I am in Delmarva, being able to get innings. Me also working on starting and, coming out of the pen has been great. Because like I said, I just feel like I need innings. I don't have a lot of innings in pro ball. So I just love what they're doing. And, I love the organization. I think it's great. And I think in the future, we're going to be really, really good.
Yeah, you mentioned Driveline, and obviously the Orioles have put a pretty big emphasis on analytics in the past few years, and the Rangers have as well. Most teams are doing that now. But what are the analytics that have helped you out in your game? How have the Orioles kind of approached you with some analytical things that could help you out? And then also with some of your teammates at Delmarva.
Yeah. So before I got traded, they were telling me that they traded for me for my slider. They really liked my slider work. And, me not knowing about any analytics or anything, I just knew that it was a pretty good pitch. But I didn't know, the stats behind it and spin rate and horizontal break and all the access, all this stuff. So, I just I started out with my slider with where I was working out in the offseason at Rotational Athletes, and I was spinning it at like 2,700, and he's like, "Man, it's really, really good. Like it's a
Yeah.
really good pitch. It's a big league pitch." And once I got over here, they just were telling me that like my slider is like it's a big league pitch, and that like it plays like it's in like the blue for on track, man. So I just allowing them to like show me that, and so also I have a changeup that I've been working on as well. That's also a blue pitch.
Okay.
That's something that I really haven't thrown a lot, and now I'm starting to like trust it and throw it more. So then them just showing me that stuff just gives me the confidence to just go out there and throw it, like what kind of plays and what doesn't. So like just knowing that like it's a big, like I have two big league pitches and stuff like that, it just allows me to just go out there and just throw with confidence, and like they're only gonna get better. So.
Yeah, no, for sure. And you have gotten better, obviously, because the stats keep going up. What are watching Gunnar Henderson play down at Delmarva right now, seeing the rest of the Orioles prospects, including yourself and really anyone on that Delmarva team, Bowie, Norfolk, Aberdeen, all the places right now. What's your level of excitement like for the organizational future? Because it seems like the Orioles have right now a top 5 farm system.
Man, it's crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
like where I was at 19 as to where these guys are at such a young age, talking about Daryl and Gunner, it's just crazy.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like, the ball gets hit to them, they're going to make plays behind you, the plays that, like, maybe some other people won't make, they're making. And it just makes it, just puts like a lot of stress off the pitcher, because you're going to get the ground ball. It's going to be a double play. You're going to get out some jams. So it's just amazing playing with them and seeing like what they're doing is just, it's incredible. And, I've just never seen anything like that. Like people ask me, and I feel like Gunner is one of the best ball players I've ever seen in my life.
Wow. Okay.
What he's doing at 19 at this level of competition is just amazing. So, those guys are great. And, just looking at the other guys that we have at the higher levels, Grayson and DL and Adley, I mean, it definitely is a top 5 organization. And I feel like we're going to be very good in a few years with those guys up there. And, it's great. And I'm excited to see it and be a part of it, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure. And what do you think as a pitcher, how do you think you differentiate yourself from other pitchers? What makes your game unique? What makes your game different?
I feel like what makes my game like unique and different is I just feel like when I'm on, I'm on. You know what I mean? Like I feel like when I'm on, I compete. I feel like I'm fun to watch. With the pitches that I throw, and I think that I'm just an exciting pitcher to watch. Like I said, I'm definitely not satisfied where I'm at right now. I want to continue to grow, continue to sharpen up my pitches, continue to be more consistent. But I feel like there's definitely something special there if I can be more consistent. And like I said, I just feel like I'm fun to watch when I attack guys, and like people just like to see me pitch.
Now you've made 2 starts this year. You've appeared in 5 games, so 3 relief appearances, 2 starts. What's the difference for you in starting relieving? Do you appreciate one more than the other? Is one harder for you than the other? What do you really like doing as far as starting relieving?
I feel more comfortable. I feel like coming out of the bench because it's just something that I did like throughout my career.
Yeah.
I wasn't even being mentioned as a starter for the Rangers, the team that drafted me. So I was coming out of the pen, and then even here, like even those relief appearances, I'm still technically a starter because we're on a tandem. So it'll be like one guy will throw 4, and then I'll be the next guy in line to go like 4, and then bam, like
right, yeah,
closer.
pitching a lot of innings for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like just the difference between them. I mean, it's one, that you're just starting the game, and one that you're coming out of the pen. So that just starting the game and kind of having that time to do your routine and get like kind of what you need is great. It's something that I'm really not used to. I'm still trying to build up a routine, because like having that much time in between, I'm used to kind of just like, hey, X, like get hot, you're coming in. So it's definitely, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I prefer relieving, but I'm just gonna do anything that the organization like asks me to do. But I just feel like there's a little bit of a difference. One, you have a routine, and the other one, you kind of don't have as much time. And I feel like I just feel more comfortable in that my stuff plays a little bit better out of the bullpen than essentially starting.
Yeah, it makes sense for sure. And you've obviously thrown to a lot of different catchers at Delmarva. How would you say each of the catchers are different down there? How do they receive the ball differently? How do they frame your pitches differently? And is there any part in their game that you really like working with catching wise?
So I've thrown to Ramon Rodriguez this year, and also Jordan Cannon behind the play, and I
Yep.
feel like they're both very good catchers. Cannon he's older than Ramon, so I'm trusting what he's putting down, and they receive the ball well. They're dudes like in the lineup that are gonna give you the run support that you need. I just feel like they're both just two great catchers, and I'm just beyond blessed to have both of them back there, and them kind of tell me about my pitches. Like if I'm like doing something that they see, it can help me. They'll come out like, hey, X, like, hey, you're flying open, like just come straight to me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And just having that, and just having like the guys that have been in, because Ramon was with the Dodgers, and he told me, that he caught Clayton Kershaw during spring training one time, and Walker Buehler, and all these big names. And for him to just, come out there and tell me, how good my stuff is, like he like change, and that just gives me more confidence. And then obviously Cannon with his experience and being older, it's just great. And I just, I love that both of those guys are able to catch and be in the same team as me.
Yeah, for sure. And what pitcher would you say that you model your game after, if there is one that you do?
It used to be Marcus Stroman, but Stroman, me and him are completely two different. I'm like taller, and Stroman's a little bit smaller.
Yeah, for sure.
I would say I'm out on my game now. Like my favorite pitcher now is Devin Williams.
Okay, yeah.
Even like I feel like we both got like similar fastballs. Like we both throw pretty hard, and his pitch for him is a really good changeup, and I feel like my pitch is a good slider. So we both have the pitches and kind of like similar frames. Like he's taller, but he's a little bit skinnier, and I'm like a little bit bigger. But it's just somebody that I enjoy watching. I think that they go about the business extremely well. I'm just that's just who I enjoy watching. I think is a very good pitcher.
Yeah, I always hear from a lot of the minor league guys that you often learn from each other in the clubhouse. You're always working together, trying to get better at all. Who is the pitcher you would say you've learned the most from so far, either Delmarva and Texas, wherever you've been?
Man, that's a tough one, honestly. I'd probably have to say my boy Ty Tiedemann with Texas, and my boy also from Texas, Tyler Thomas, who got traded from the Cubs. Ty, we were just playing catch one day, and he showed me this changeup grip, which is like my changeup grip now. And, it just felt comfortable because, like, I was having so many inconsistencies with the changeup, and I always thought it was my grip. And he was just, like, telling me, like, it's, the grip is one thing, but just how you throw it, getting on top, using the middle finger and the middle finger and the, like the ring finger to, like, really throw and, like, get on top of it. So I think, that guy, that's one of the guys, just playing catch and just talking baseball. And then also Tyler Thomas, just, like, mechanic things, you know what I mean? Like, in the off season, I showed him a video of me throwing, and he's like, hey, man, here's what you do really great. Here's what you do, what you need to improve on. And I just feel like just having that between your friends, and it's just is awesome. And I'm just blessed to have friends like that know their stuff.
Yeah, and as kind of a final wrap-up question for you here, a lot of people rave about Chris Holt. He's kind of turned around the pitching in this organization. He's done a lot for a lot of guys. Obviously now the major league pitching coach, but have you had any experiences with Chris Holt so far? And if so, what has he kind of taught you about your game specifically?
Oh yeah, man, Chris Holt, he's an awesome guy. I love what he's doing. He's a big stuff guy. You know what I mean? Like he's all about your stuff and just throwing your weapons to your best location. Honestly, I've had brief like conversations and talks with him. I haven't had like anything crazy, but when I first got traded over and he would watch my bullpens, he was just telling me that he liked my stuff. He liked how my stuff played. Just to go up there confident and just throw my best stuff to my best locations, and that's what's gonna get outs. And like for me personally, I've always known that like I kind of like had good stuff, but just had to put it together. So just hearing like a guy, that is excited about stuff, just makes it a little bit more easier. Knowing that it's all gonna be a part of the process, and that it's good to have the stuff and trusting that the results are gonna come instead of just getting the results and not having the stuff. So it's just been awesome, and I love what he's doing, and he's a great guy. Great guy.
Yeah, for sure. Xavier, thank you so much. We wish you a ton of luck in the rest of your season. Hopefully you keep moving up, progressing a ton. Hopefully we'll see you in Baltimore in a few years.
Hey, thank you, man, so much. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks again to Xavier Moore for joining the show. We hope to see him in Baltimore in a few years. He's a really solid piece, and I hope he keeps pitching well at Delmarva. We hope he keeps pitching well at Delmarva. Hopefully gets a promotion soon. And yeah, I mean, just another one of these pieces and these unsung pieces that are going to be contributors for the Orioles down the road. So glad to always talk with him. Matt, anything else we have before we get out of here today?
No, I don't think so. We're going to be starting our draft coverage in the next month, including our draft show. And we plan on having Jim Callis from MLB Pipeline on pretty soon. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, but that will probably be, I would say, early July. We'll do that. The draft show at some point. And then, of course, the live stream draft on draft day, which will be extremely exciting as it was last year. We had a ton of fun with that. So we will be doing that. But, new episodes every week as usual will be coming out. Hopefully we can get a few more guests on the next few shows. I think that's about it. So follow us on all our socials. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Listen to us anywhere where you get your podcasts, and we will see you next time.